I am Dr. Franita Ware. I am an award-winning professional developer, and I am the author of Warm Demander Teachers. And this is the 2026 Warm Demander Teachers Book Club. And I'm starting with the first chapter for me, Radical Self-Care. So let me tell you, I'm really glad you're joining me. I hope you're either someone who's read the book, you're interested in reading the book, or you simply found this information and you want to know about how to become warm demander teachers. Foundational to radical self-care, warm demander teachers, is the understanding that we have to be well to become warm demander teachers. So much of education is about how much you give to other people, and I like the expression of not giving from an empty cup, but I've tweaked that in my professional development to get educators to understand that they're a pitcher. You know, when you're a cup, that's, 8 ounces. Once you pour a little bit out, you're already halfway depleted. But if you're a pitcher, you're full and you're expected to pour out. But to be a pitcher, you have to fill yourself, right? You can't just fill with 8 ounces. And radical self-care is what helps warm demander teachers in my professional development become pitchers and have an abundance to give. But first, it starts with you. And it's that time of the year. It's summer. Yay, it's summer. It's that time of the year when most educators are like, okay, I'm going to get well. I'll get some sleep. Hopefully, I'm getting some reading in. And you get well temporarily for the summer, because if it were really transitional, if it were really transformational healing, it would last through the entire year. And we both know that teachers come in August and September and they're fresh and they're vitalized, and they spent the summer doing their self-care. And depending upon when your school starts, after Labor Day, teachers are already counting until the next, so when's the next break? When do we get a day in October? Is it all the way to November? And I want to flatten that roller coaster ride. And if you like roller coasters, it's fun, right? But it's not the best for your well-being, and it's certainly not the best for your students and for your colleagues, and it's not what warm demander teachers do. Warm demander teachers know they have to be well. And so I'm going to start with 2 strategies today on that I suggest you do this summer to begin your journey to be well. Let me tell you how the book club is going to work this summer. I have a session for each book chapter. We're starting with chapter 2, Radical Self-Care. And I'll do one for each chapter, and it'll drop about a week later. So about a week from now, we'll have the other one, and then that way you can go back and read it. You can also contact me with questions through my website, info@FranitaWarePhD.com. If you have any questions about any of the content, what I say, anything from the book, or you just want to touch base on the type of work that I do, please feel free to reach out. So let's get started. I'm going to recommend, based on a self-experiment I did with myself and even confirmed it with my doctor a couple of days later, that this summer when you're working on your health, you give particular attention to hydration, to water. We know that we can live a lot longer without food than we can without water. And the experiment I did on myself was I was so exhausted in the evening. I was just out of it. It didn't make sense. I just shouldn't have been that tired, but I really was. And so I decided to look up the amount of water that I should have for my body type. I measured, and I really did. I measured it out. And I made sure I got all that water in before about 5 o'clock. And I noticed that evening I wasn't just out of it. And I had a doctor's visit around that same time, and I told her about it, and she said, yeah, your brain was not dehydrated. And so if you're experiencing just exhaustion at night, and it's the summer, you want to continue to enjoy the sun shining longer and the warm temperatures, and so work to really get your water in earlier. Now, one of the things I want to say about water, it is precious and it is political. There are people in America today and around the world who do not have access to fresh, clean water. And when we have access to water and we can drink it at our convenience, we can't take that for granted. We've got to be grateful to have water. And that's the second thing I want you to think about this summer and actually implement, not just think about. One of the things you'll see in the book about radical self-care is a daily gratitude practice. There's work about how it rewires your brain. Your brain starts to scan the environment for other things to be grateful for. You become more optimistic. That comes from Sean Anker's work. And so one of the things I encourage everyone to do who does radical self-care is every day spend some time thinking about what you're grateful for. And then here's the twist. And I've learned this from my workshop. I learned so much from doing professional development. I think that's why I love it so much. People are always very comfortable with, I'm grateful for that, and I'm grateful for that, and I'm grateful for my family and friends. Like, they're always grateful for the external. But when I ask educators, what are they grateful for themselves? I can't tell you the number of times people like kind of are just rattled like myself. I'm supposed to be grateful for myself. Yes. What are you grateful for about yourself? So that's the homework if you need it for the summer. Be very intentional about drinking water. Be very grateful that you have water because it's precious and people around the world do not have access to clean water. Think about what you're grateful for yourself every day. I encourage you to journal. I'll talk next video about why writing is so important. It's one of the things I'm really very intentional about. So, water, grateful that you have access to clean water, daily gratitude, and what are you grateful for about yourself? I'm glad you joined me. If you're interested in being a warm demander teacher, educator, or leader, follow me, contact me. I love this work. And I believe this summer you'll get enough information from these brief book studies that I'm doing that you'll either go deeper into the book, reread some of the things you've read before, or contact me and ask me for questions. This is great work. You and your students deserve for you to be a warm demander teacher, and it all starts with radical self-care. Please contact me. You know how to get in touch with me. I'm looking forward to continuing our book studies. Thank you.